I really feel that talking therapy has opened up doors into those zones.
And then all of a sudden, like it felt like 80%, 90% of the guys in there just all flooded in messages.
But as soon as the connection has been established, and we're kind of 2 sessions in or whatever, then the kind of barriers start to kind of, you can see them coming down.
You're in a room and we're all there for the same thing. We're opening up and talking about stories of, maybe how we were raised as kids, or, how we got treated as kids, or what it's like to live in Brighton as a black mixed race person or whatever. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Middle Ground podcast. I'm your host, Rhys White.
And I'm Olivier Nicholas.
Nice. So in today's episode, we're talking about why men suffer in silence. But before we go into that episode, just want to let you know about the Middle Ground method that we're offering for free. Olivier, tell them a bit more about that.
So in the Middle Ground method, you are going to get a helpful little guide to help you along with your career. So any kind of setbacks that you're facing in your career, anything that you're struggling with generally, and kind of just giving you an idea of how you might be able to carry on forward and be happier in your career.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, sweet. And from me, you'll get a free training plan that you could do in the gym or at home. You'll also get a recipe book and a video from myself just explaining how to kick things off, because, as we all know, starting your health journey is probably the most, is not that easy. So just a video guide to talk you through that. And it's all completely free. So just go on the link at the bottom in the description, type in your email, and you'll get sent over to you straight away.
Nice.
Pretty easy. Nice. So yeah, why men suffer in silence? I think it's quite a big topic for both of us. Maybe something that we both deal with in our profession, and when we deal with our clients. Do you suppose?
Yeah, 100%. It's true, because I think, we've talked about this, a couple of times, but I think there's definitely more stuff in there. I think that particularly with men, I think maybe because I am a man, so I think maybe that's from my perspective. I'm sure it'd be nice to kind of hear a woman's perspective on it as well. But I think society definitely doesn't give you much space, or at least hasn't done, growing up to be open with your feelings as a man about, what you're going through, what you're worried about, what you're managing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I think for me, like the main thing I deal with as a fitness coach is not telling people what to do in their training or how to deal with their nutrition. It is more trying to get them to open up and tell me when they are struggling, or something's pops up and things are not going well. That's more of the thing that I have to work on the guys more on, rather than train like this or eat like this. It's just like you had a bad week, why didn't you tell me? Or you're struggling, okay, how can we overcome this? It's more those conversations. I'm trying to make my guys more open about it, but it's tough. It's not natural for men, I suppose. But also, even myself, even though we're doing a topic on it, sometimes I struggle to open up when I'm struggling or sad, or it doesn't quite come naturally to me. I'm way better at it than I was before, but even like the other week, I was just like, I found myself not opening up to Emily when I was a little bit stressed.
Why do you think that was?
You know what, that's a good question. I think when she kind of asked me if I was okay, and I had a stressful week at work, and me and Emily have an open relationship where we could communicate all the time, which is one of the best things about a relationship. But I think in that moment, I was just like, look, it's Friday. In my head, I was thinking it's Friday. I'm done with work for the week. One, I don't really want to talk about work. And two, in my mind, because it's at the end of the day on Friday, and I just kind of wanted to go in the weekend, just like not thinking about work and just, okay, that week is done. Just go into the weekend and not think about that or have some fun. I just didn't want to kind of burden her with how I was feeling, because in my mind, I just wanted to reset and just go into the weekend and have a nice time.
But what makes you think it would be a burden for her?
I don't know. I think it's also another thing about it's just like in my mind, I just didn't want to talk about it because it's something I've been dealing with all week.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't really want to talk about it and repeat myself about it because I've just been through it. But then later on, we kind of did talk about it, and actually the best thing to do was to talk about it, and I felt way better doing it like that because I didn't talk about it. I was like, yeah, I'm good. A few hours later, Emily was like, right, you're not giving off a good vibe here. Like, what's going on?
Actually, she called you out again.
Yeah. She was like, look, like, I could tell something's up. And we talk about things like this, just tell me. And I was like, okay, I did. And then it was way better. We you know, she understood where I was, how I was feeling. She gave me advice. She helped me out. She gave me a cuddle. And that was it. It was fine. And I'm so glad she did call me out on that. But I don't know. So like sometimes I do talk to Emily. I'm like, look, I'm feeling a bit stressed. I'm feeling X, Y, and Z. I'm concerned about this, whatever. But for some reason, in that moment, I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to leave it. Like, I'm just going to, I don't really want to talk about it. I just want to just go into the weekend and not think about the challenges that's happened to me that week.
I mean, how do you see that playing out if you're presented with a similar situation in a month's time or week's time, whatever?
Well, if the same thing happened again, I think just talk to her. I think like I said, it's very rare, but I don't. I just found myself in that situation not doing it, and it was almost a bit. I suppose because we do communicate with each other a lot, it almost you forget the benefit of talking about things and opening up. And I kind of just, I don't know. So next time I did just learn, just talk to your partner. So they understand what you're going through. And actually when you talk or write things down, you're getting it off your chest and you just feel like a weight off your shoulders anyway. But like I said, I know to communicate. I know to talk about things with my partner or my parents or whatever, if I'm struggling with anything. But sometimes I just do fall into the trap sometimes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think that's fine as well. Like, it's okay to fall into a trap as long as we recognize that it's happened afterwards, and then we're happy to kind of tweak or whatever that looks like. Yeah. I mean, I've definitely done that. I think, you know, I would say that I'm a lot more open about a lot of things now since going to therapy. So I've been going to therapy for maybe like half a year now, maybe slightly. I know actually it was around when I started a bit before then. And there were certain sort of like no-go zones almost. Yeah. I don't know if that sort of happens with you guys or not, but for me there was a couple of like no-go zones, and I really feel that talking therapy has opened up doors into those zones, because there are certain things that, like if I rewind, I don't know, let's say 2 or 3 months or something, those no-go zones were pretty like hard to get into. But like I think it was only last week or something, or 2 weeks ago, I didn't even wait for the question about the no-go zone. I went straight into it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like and like that's quite big for me. And I think, you know, I would have loved to have perhaps had the inclination or the idea to do that sooner. But
wouldn't that be you building up trust?
In what sense? Sorry,
with a therapist.
Yeah, true.
I don't think you go into the first session and go.
Sorry, I wasn't clear. I meant with Robin.
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right.
Yeah. Sorry, no, I should have made that clearer. Like, so since speaking with these topics in therapy, I've then with Robin gone like just talked about them. Yeah. Do you see what I mean? And it's like, so that's why I feel like, you know, maybe I don't wish that I'd had the inclination to do it sooner, because it's, you know, everything happens at the time it happens. You know what I mean? It's not, I don't think, it's not like our relationship has suffered because I didn't go to therapy 2 years ago. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that it's now strengthened somewhat as a result of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think there's been examples where when me and you met, we started talking about our childhood as mixed race kids.
Yeah.
That's something I kind of hid away for a long time and didn't really talk to many people about it. But then I, since talking to you and talking to my mate about it, then I kind of opened up to Emily about that. But it wasn't like I was hiding it from her. I just didn't really know. I don't know. I think it's almost the sense that you need to find someone who's been through the experience as well to then have the excuse to open up, kind of thing. Like,
yeah, it's relatability.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I just do think that's a constant challenge, because maybe as kids, you weren't allowed to cry, or you get called a pussy, or you can't show your emotions or get upset.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Maybe how we were raised as well by our parents at the time. I don't know, but I feel like there's a lot of kind of just small factors that have just building up over so many years, where it is hard for guys to talk about their feelings.
I do think that's true. And I think, just sort of trying to, as you were talking about that, I was thinking about the kind of childhood aspect of it. And I think I probably, when I felt as though I couldn't, kind of cry or be open about stuff, that was definitely a thing amongst mates.
Yeah.
When it comes to, like, with my dad, I think I was probably maybe making assumptions that I couldn't with him, if that makes sense, because there's nothing that he ever, it's not like he, because the reason I'm saying this is because now I know that we have a really, really sort of close relationship. I know that I could, and I probably could always have done. So it's maybe my own assumption, because I've brought in my experience with what's going on at school and like all of that, and I've kind of applied that into how I've assumed my dad would respond.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think that's fair. That's interesting. But like, so you just felt like you couldn't actually just even approach your dad and talk about things
completely.
Sometimes.
Yeah. Maybe it's an age thing. Like maybe when you're a kid, and your dad is your like, or not like authoritarian figure, but it's a figure of authority, right? They're calling you out on your shit. They're telling you not to do this. That, obviously not just telling you off, but maybe it was just me.
Yeah.
but like there is a different. You're an adult to child relationship, whereas like the adult to adult relationship is different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's actually, to be honest, this kind of relates to psychology as well. When you can, if you're talking to someone and you say something that makes them, like, you're not talking to them on a level playing field, you can put them into what's called a child state.
Okay.
And then what happens is that that is probably one of the least productive states that you can be in, because if you're putting the other person in a child state, they constantly they revert to their childhood. Yeah. And they think that you're kind of like, you're some level above them. Okay. Do you know what I mean? So this is why when you're talking to people, you have to, we do it unconsciously, right? Subconsciously, we because we talk to each other as adults, right? Yeah. But by doing that, you're keeping them in an adult state. Yeah. Which is what, so that I think relating that to what we're talking about, I think that's why maybe we have a different relationship now, because we're both in an adult state. He's not talking to me like a child. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that. That's interesting. I think also, like, not purposely, but I don't really remember my dad showing emotion that much. I think I've only seen him cry once. Do you know what I mean? So again, that without him realizing, maybe that's just like another thing that I kind of picked up as a kid, where you don't cry. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But
same.
Yeah, it is interesting. But like, I don't know how it kind of overflows in work for you, but like, obviously I'm coaching a group of guys at the moment, and I get them on a WhatsApp group. So we mostly talk shit, to be fair, like, about football.
You do coach them as well, right?
Yeah, a little bit. But it's like, send in your wins. What are your commitments for the week? Yeah. Send in selfies of you in the gym, whatever. Did you get a PB? Or we mostly talk about football. It's very little fitness, but when we do, it's great, because you can see everyone's motivated. When someone else is smashing it, you're kind of like, oh, they could do it, I could do it too. So there's the benefits from that. But there was one. Well, when I noticed members of a group going a little bit quiet, I do just drop them a message and be like, "Hey, man, haven't seen you." Kind of drop a message in the group for a while. Is everything okay? And there was this one guy that I messaged and said that, and he was actually just struggling a little bit with motivation. He was feeling a bit down. And the WhatsApp group wasn't really helping because he was seeing everyone smash it. And he was just like, why the fuck, why isn't this happening to me? So he just kind of like cut off the group a little bit. And I spoke to him and, got him on a call. I was just like, look, like, it's okay what you're going through. And actually, even though we're all putting all these positive messages in the group, we're all dealing with setbacks as well. You're not alone in this. So then I purposely then kind of dropped in a message in the group saying, guys, look, love the vibe on here. Everyone's been positive, which is good. But at the same time, if you are struggling or you're having a tough week or you're feeling unmotivated or whatever it is, it could be anything. You should feel comfortable sending it into this group. Okay, it's a group for men. This is a safe space for anyone. Okay, for everyone. And then I kind of just said, look, I've had a bit of a tough week actually for X, Y, and Z. Has anyone else? And then all of a sudden, it felt like 80%, 90% of the guys in there just all flooded in messages. And you know where they send a long message and it says read more. You have to tap, like for every single one, they proper just went into so much detail about things that they were going through, or it then kind of overflowed to just to, like, once someone brought up a topic, someone else would be like, look, oh my God, I went through that 2 years ago and, this is what happened. And but it got real deep. It got real deep and personal. There was a lot of things. And actually, we all realized that the things that we're opening up to each other, I think most of that stuff we haven't even spoken to our partners about. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So again, that's just another example. It's like, why haven't you spoken to your partner about this?
Quick question on that one. Like how, because that first of all, that's really cool. Like that they kind of feel that they can do that. Do you think, or rather, to what degree do you think that experience has shaped how you coach them moving from that point, or maybe it hasn't? I don't know.
I think it's always his. Basically, what I did is gave them permission to open up. Yeah. Right. So that is, and so even in my check-ins now, I'm just like, what's been your challenges this week? I'm trying to give them opportunities to write down the negatives. Because if this is like, tell me about your week, they're like, oh yeah, I lifted this, I did that for a while, but ate this. But I'm purposely adding in questions in there like, what were your challenges? How did it make you feel?
Yeah.
How can we overcome this? How can you overcome this?
Yeah. And do you feel like in that do you feel like maybe before they would have had when they answer those questions, it would have been more fitness related, whereas now maybe there's a bit more around their actual life in there. Yeah. And
then you realise that actually we're talking less about fitness. It's about how to navigate through life. A lot of these guys are in jobs that they don't like. They're very stressed. They're spinning multiple plates. Yeah. It's just like, it's not just me being like, oh, go to the gym. It's like, right, this is your situation, and how can we make it work around your busy schedule, because you got a lot going on right now. And when we do talk about the factors that are, stopping them, focusing on their health or going to the gym, it's all to do with how they're feeling mentally, not physically, right? So it does feel like I do have a lot of deep conversations with my clients, just trying to get them through the week sometimes, just because of like, they've got a stressful job and kids and a partner to worry about, and they feel like they've got no time for themselves. And then
how do you? So because obviously when you're taking on new clients who haven't been part of this kind of formative experience, it seems to be an ongoing evolution. When you take on new clients, is there anything that changes in your, I wouldn't say like onboarding process, but like in those first initial stages of coaching, has anything changed there as a result of that, or is it?
To be honest, I try and get as much information as I can on the first call, and it's not like, what's your goal? Lose fat and build muscle. I'm just like, but why? What's been stopping you doing that? How does it feel that you can't fit in your clothes anymore? We dive in deeper into the reasons why they want to get fit. So I know what I'm dealing with. If someone just says I want to lose fat, I'm like, oh, okay, I could help with that. But if I don't know the reasons why they've been struggling with that, or what they're thinking, in certain points, and how they're feeling at certain parts of the day, that's been stopping them losing weight, for example, then I can't help them.
And it's also like, you've probably been in similar situations, right? There's bound to be, perhaps not every time, but there's bound to be things that they will say, and you're like, oh yeah, I obviously you don't want to kind of make it about you, but you can at least sort of offer support from a lived experience, I suppose.
Yeah. It's just trying to get them to open up, like, and I do think that was quite a big moment where I think a lot of the guys was like, oh shit, they then opened up a bit more to me, moving forward. But that's why I've got a social event next weekend where they're coming down to Brighton. We're going to do a workout on the beach, go for a swim, grab a beer and food after. But that's just an opportunity for them to meet each other, and just socialize, because we get quite deep on the WhatsApp group, but they don't know each other. They live in different parts of the country, but it'll be a great social event where they all get to meet each other. Yeah, I
think that's a cool idea. I had a client who lived in Glasgow once, so it was a bit tricky to try.
Oh, really?
I tend to coach. As it happens at the moment, my clients are all fairly local, so it's probably more feasible. But generally, it'll be kind of dotted around, so it's not quite as easy as that. But I love the idea. I think it's great, that sense of community.
How do you? So that's kind of where it pops up in my line of work. But how does that happen with you? Like, in your, the challenges of your clients and trying to get them to open up and talk about their feelings and struggles.
I mean, if I'm completely honest, they open up to me. Like,
I suppose that's why we're coming to you in the first place. I was
going to say, it's possible that this is where there's a slight difference between. I say it's slight, because obviously there's so much crossover between what you do and what I do, like an unbelievable amount. But I think maybe that is a subtle difference where people are coming to open up. Like, I have clients who, have had clients who have been in like the program and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So they're very open about like things like addiction and how that has affected things, and have. So they tend to kind of be a bit more open. Like one of my guys recently, I think, had it. He was not super recently, but he was still kind of managing the loss of both parents, which was having a big impact on him because of. I think he always wanted his dad to be proud of him. Do you know what I mean? Right. And what he was trying to do was something is still doing is something quite big. So that idea of, managing the fact that your parent isn't there to sort of say that they're proud of you is quite big. And, there was a real teary moment there, So I would say that the sessions that I have with clients are a pretty open space for that. Well, not from day one, because you need to establish a connection first.
Yeah.
But as soon as the connection has been established, and we're kind of 2 sessions in or whatever, then the kind of barriers start to kind of you can see them coming down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then that's when you feel like you're in a really good place with it.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it is. There's definitely like an element of trust, or again, just being around people who are in the same situation as you. Like the guys on my program, they're all trying to get healthy and do that around their busy lifestyle at the moment. Same with your people. But then I did go to like a men's event. Well, I've been to a few actually. I went to kind of like a men's fire and circle event, which again was 10 random guys. We all did breath work, a sauna, and an ice bath. But like we did certain exercises where, the guy would come into the sauna, hand us over the wooden spoon and ask us a question, which would then prompt us to talk about how we're feeling and our emotions. So it's just like 10 strangers in the sauna just passing over this wooden spoon and opening up. And it was actually a really cool thing. But then again, that's someone giving permission for us to do it. We didn't know each other. We probably didn't even there's no element of trust there actually. But there's a guy just going, here you go, let's talk about this. I'm going to jump out. And then another event is I went to in Brighton was, black men in Brighton.
Yeah, you said,
And then when we all got something in common there, where, Brighton is mostly like a white, town. So, there's already kind of like, not trust there, but you're in a room and we're all there for the same thing. We're opening up and talking about stories of, maybe how we were raised as kids, or, how we got treated as kids, or what it's like to live in Brighton as a black mixed race person or whatever. And then, but because I was in that circle and we're all there for the same thing, it gave us, again, all permission to open up and feel safe to talk about our experiences. In comparison to a room with loads of white people. Do you know what I mean?
No, definitely. I think like from everything we've talked about in this episode, I think for me, what would be the most awesome thing is if this podcast felt like it gave people permission to who are in a similar position to us, whether it's racially, whether it's, shit that we're dealing with, but that would be really cool if this podcast could help other people do that.
Yeah. But so obviously, men do struggle to open up, but they need some sort of permission. So I think what I've learned as well from a few experiences is just ask if people are okay. Because there's one time where a guy came into the gym and he just looked a bit worn down, like not because it was like early in the morning. He just looked a bit like just exhausted, physically, mentally, and I was just like, mate, are you okay? He was like, yeah, fine. And I kind of like stopped him. I was like, are you sure? Like, you sure you're okay, mate? Just checking. And he was like, yeah. So again, I gave him 2 opportunities. He turned them both down. And I was like, okay, you might be tired or hungover. Who knows? Cracked on with the session. And then the next day he comes back in and goes, Rhys, I want to say thank you. I was like, for what? And then he's just like, I realised I wasn't okay. You asked me twice if I was okay. And when he finished the gym session and started walking home that day, he was just like, shit, I'm actually not okay. And he had a lot going on with his partner, financial stuff. So there was a lot going on in his mind. But then he said, like, I can't remember the last times anyone's asked me if I was okay. And also checked again. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? He said like, not even my closest friends even ask if I'm okay, when clearly he maybe hasn't been for a long time.
Need some new friends.
Yeah, no. But again, is that like another example where we don't ask our friends enough?
Yeah, but I mean, I do agree with that. But I mean, I have like a WhatsApp group with like 3 really good friends of mine, and we're really good at that. Like in terms of like, I think you can tell that a few of us have been through therapy as well, because like someone will be like, hey guys, like this has happened, I'm not feeling super great, like, and then everyone like jumps in. It's like, oh, what's going on? Like, and it's like a real herd mentality, which I love, but that's probably not typical of everyone, or a lot. I don't know, because I've got no experience of other friendships, but I'm quite proud of that, I think, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And final question for you, actually. So like with things like burnout, do you think like men, that's something that men don't really talk about that much, but they almost think that's the way life is supposed to be, isn't it? Just like wake up, go to work, smash work, come back exhausted, sleep, wake up and just go again. And it's kind of normalized that it's kind of like just crack on with it.
Definitely. I mean, that's a huge topic. That's but I agree with you. I think that's absolutely true. I think we always feel like we have to do that, like do more, or you know what I mean, we're not doing enough, that sort of thing.
Yeah. But we'll talk about that on another episode. We'll talk about it on another episode. But we'll leave it as that, guys. But I hope you enjoyed the episode. But like I said, if you want the free middle ground method, it's in the link in the description. So just go on the link, chuck in your email, and we'll send everything over for free.
And don't forget to subscribe.
And if you got any messages, drop us a message, comment, anything, and we'll get back to you.
Cheers, guys.